you a heads up here that we have a number of severe weather events expected today. We've got this overall outlook that we do have. This is looking at the probability of wind here. Let me go ahead and pull up some estimates here. 1 second. All right, we're going to take a look at some estimates here for radar, what's expected. Thankfully, right now this morning, it's a very, very slow morning for weather-wise. That's great. We don't have any active warnings for tornadoes. We don't have any active severe thunderstorm warnings. But how is the day going to look out? We do show a slight risk of severe weather all up and down areas like eastern and central part of Tennessee. We have areas of eastern and central Kentucky, pretty much all of West Virginia, extreme portions, eastern portions of Ohio. We also have slight risk today for areas of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we could have the potential of seeing some significant wind and low chance of some hail as well. So please stick around. We're going to go through these radar estimates. These are estimates of timing. So you're looking at the latest information that we have from one of the weather models, and this is where it's expected to be throughout the day. So what we're expecting to have happen today for areas of the Deep South, like Nashville, your area is under the gun for some severe risks. The timing of that is going to be sometime between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. So let's go ahead and take a look at those areas of Tennessee. This is a look at 11 a.m. And as we approach noontime, you can see there in the Nashville area, starting to see that wall of wind show up. This is a look at around 3:20 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Again, these are radar estimates. Approaches Knoxville area, so if you're in that area around 7 p.m., we'll still have those. Asheville, unfortunately, you do have some severe weather expected for your area. I'm naming off some bigger cities here, so appreciate you all understanding that I just got to name off these big cities. That's a look at Tennessee area. Again, that's the timing that we see here. Hey, honeybee. How's it going? We don't have anything severe right now, but we're just taking a look at some of the outlooks here. We're going to go ahead and take a look. These are currently looking at the weather model radar estimates. This is going to be Mississippi time frame. Obviously, this is overdoing it just a smidge. But as we go in through the day, 1 o'clock to 6 p.m. in Nashville area, could expect some severe weather. We'll get to Ohio here very, very shortly. Uncommon, I appreciate it. And areas of Birmingham, Alabama, you've got chances for isolated brief tornadoes, damaging wind threat gusts up to 60 miles per hour, up to quarter-size hail also expected. And that risk is going to be something that you're going to want to make sure that you have multiple ways of receiving weather alerts. So this, as you can see in the Montgomery area this afternoon, you see some storms trying to brew as early as noontime in Montgomery, Alabama area, and then progressing further to the south and the east. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Georgia, and then we'll take a look at Ohio. I'm not able, if I'll get Georgia area here as best as I can, but you're going to have to look at some of these cities and kind of I-20, I-16 area. So Vidalia looks like there was some morning time storms. Atlanta area, you do expect sometime after 11:30. At Tennessee, Mark Owenby, you're going to have some risks there, including hail, Low threat for hail, but still possibility, as well as wind in Tennessee, and that's going to be areas sometime between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So just be mindful of that. So look at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time or 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Atlanta, you look to have some of these, the wind threat near Gay and LaGrange area sometime after 1 p.m. in areas of Georgia. Look at that. It's curvature right here suggests around 3 p.m. some significant severe weather there as well. And then we're going to go up onto Ohio shortly after this. The southern part of Georgia, Albany, you get some more development in the southern portion after 5 p.m. All right, and Savannah looks like you might end up missing out on the most significant storms, but uh, sometime around 7 p.m. that far east. All right, let's go ahead and show Ohio here. We're going to show Ohio at this point and show you the timing of those storms. Those storms are expected to happen fairly early on in the afternoon. You can see this line just kind of building 1 o'clock in the afternoon around Columbus area, Cleveland, and these aren't looking too shabby. I mean, they're not any robust storms yet, but once they get past Waverly, that's when they do start to get a little bit more robust in the evening hours. The main thing is going to be there is some capping going on, some cloud cover over in those areas of Ohio, so it might have to battle with that a little bit. So as you can see, it doesn't look that robust, but still. Let's go ahead and kind of show you the risks. You do still have that risk of tornadoes in Ohio. That's 2% risk all the way up over into areas of Buffalo and Pittsburgh. I can certainly check Arkansas here. 1 second here. And we do have to check Kentucky here. 1 second. All right, Kentucky, your probability for tornadoes is less than 2%. You do have Somerset area. You're in the Pikeville area, Hindman. You're in that slight risk for today. All right, these are radar estimates. It looks like Bowling Green area. I will check Texas here shortly. Extreme western portion of Texas would be something that in the afternoon hours. But Bowling Green looks like around 1 p.m. Some line of storms all the way west of Nashville area, Bowling Green, and then moving towards the east. That's where that wind threat is expected to be pretty significant. And then another wind threat here shows up in the evening hours by Pikeville. Then by the time you get to the overnight hours, pretty much over with it for the significant severe threat. Columbia, South Carolina area may end up having some significant severe weather, but that's going to be super late in the evening after 6 p.m. Unless these storms can line up ahead of this line. All right, question. So did you see the thunderstorm warning for North Carolina, New Hanover County, and other counties yesterday? I looked at it a little bit, but again, I was pretty busy yesterday with regards to Texas and in Oklahoma. All right, let's span out and go over to areas of the deep south. Nope, we're gonna go over here. Let's go over to New Mexico and Texas area. Again, the green, dark shade of green area, that Amarillo and Lubbock, that is the marginal risk. And then the yellow, that is a slight risk for today. Timing on these storms over into the areas of New Mexico, east of Albuquerque. We're not expecting anything real huge, but that is after 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Looks like Lubbock, it'll likely hit your area sometime after 10 p.m. Midland area, and again, these are going to, according to the marginal risk that laid out by the SPC, this would be less significant. However, this HRRR is showing this pretty significant storms here. Darn allergies. We do have, so south of Lubbock area after 10 p.m. could have some storms. I suspect that this area actually, unfortunately, in Midland area, I suspect that they're probably going to, once they do an update with this, they may end up increasing this risk down to Lubbock as a slight risk right along here. We'll have to see how that plays out. San Antonio area, you guys are in a marginal risk of severe weather. Does not look like you're going to have anything real significant impacting your area for today, at least through midnight time frame. No drainage, pooling water everywhere. Yeah, I feel bad for folks that are in all of Texas. The majority of Texas and Oklahoma has, and Dallas Fort Worth got hit big time. Wooster, Ohio. See if I can take a look at Ohio. I'll take a look at Ohio. So we got Cambridge, Columbia, Cincinnati, Waverly. So if you're over by Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, and points westward of Interstate 71 in Ohio, you guys are in a general thunderstorms. If you're east of highway or Interstate 71 in Ohio, you are going to be in a marginal risk. And if you're along that I-77, you're going to be the southern portions and eastern portions of that are going to be in the slight risk for severe weather. I can give you radar estimates here based on this in Ohio here. Again, we expect Ohio to not have near as significant of an impact, but again, with that marginal risk as well as the slight risk in extreme eastern and southeastern portions of Ohio, you want to stay weather aware this afternoon. This afternoon into the evening, sometime between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Hey, you're in Pennsylvania. You do have some risks in areas of Pennsylvania. Over in Altoona, Lock Haven, Oil City, Pittsburgh area, you're under a slight risk for severe weather today. That would be a 2 out of 5 risk. There is a less than 2% chance for the tornado probabilities. I apologize. That's in eastern part of Pennsylvania. So Allentown, you'd be less than 2% chance of tornadoes. So areas of Oil City, Pittsburgh, Altoona, those areas would be in that 2% hatch or 2% risk area up over by I-80. Yeah, you definitely need to have things stop. Jackson, Mississippi, somebody was asking about. See if I could get to the deep south here. 1 second. All right, so Jackson, you are in the 2% risk for tornado risk. Also includes Montgomery and Birmingham, Alabama, Meridian. And then your overall risk, you guys are in the slight risk or 2 out of 5. Let me see if they updated anything here. Be 1 second. All right, looks like they update. So this is the latest information. The last update from the SPC for today's outlooks was at 6:56 a.m. Central Daylight Time. The next update for this is not expected until 11:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So this is the latest information that we have. Again, areas of Nashville and eastern part and central part of Tennessee. You're expecting some storms between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. Areas of South Carolina, we're not expecting those areas to be impacted by any significant storms until much later. There are some isolated storms that could begin as early as noon, but storms will develop after 3 p.m., continuing into the evening for areas of South Carolina. So that would be including Savannah River area and central and Midlands area. Georgia, your timing on this is 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. You have the possibility for large hail, damaging winds, and brief spin up tornadoes. So a low risk, but still a risk there. Areas of Alabama, the timing on you, Monday morning through the evening. So Alabama, you got a lot going on for most of the day, unfortunately. With that slight risk, you got the 2 out of 5. And areas like Jackson, Mississippi area, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. is going to be mainly South Mississippi. All right, let's see if we have any other questions here. Dallas, Fort Worth area, no, you guys are not expected to get impacted today. You got general thunderstorms. Unfortunately, you don't need any more rain in Dallas, Fort Worth area, but most of that has moved on out. There is that marginal risk over west of Dallas, Fort Worth area, which would be Abilene. Memphis, Tennessee area. Cindy Lou, thank you very much for the heart me's. Appreciate it. Looking at Texas right now, again, not really expecting a whole lot going on in Texas until later in the evening hours after 6 p.m. over by Lubbock, Midland, Stockton. This does still have a marginal risk over here, which is outlined in the darker shade of green. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tennessee. Memphis, you guys are in the marginal risk. Again, we're looking at the timing with radar estimates. Not seeing a whole lot going on in Memphis. This is going to be after 1 p.m. We do see more of that northerly track here, Jackson, Tennessee, and up towards Nashville, Tennessee area sometime after 1 p.m. And then we do have that line of multi-line cell here approaching areas. Looks like it kind of starts over by Louisville, Elizabethtown, Bowling Green area sometime around noontime and builds that line right here and then moves on through Nashville area sometime between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. Yeah, I thought you were going to get a few showers this morning in Arkansas, but it probably, this Cindy Lou, the atmosphere probably stabilized out. So it doesn't look like we're expecting a whole lot. Hey, Tulsa, Tulsa area. Thankfully, you guys are not expecting anything in Tulsa area today. So as you can see, the outline, we do have the lighter shade of green as general thunderstorms. In Tulsa, you guys are outside of that, so that's good. Day 2, you get some things approaching. Day 3, again, some more rain expected for day 3, which would end up being Wednesday. But take a look at day 3 for up in areas of South Dakota, my South Dakota friends. Marginal risk for some severe weather. I do expect this to actually be increased to a slight risk over here in areas of Iowa, Cedar Rapids area. What about North Mississippi? Go to day 1 here again. So northern Mississippi for today, you still have that slight risk for severe weather today, but as you can see, the northern part, if things can break through the cap and the cloud cover that happened this morning, Tupelo sometime after 1 p.m. could have some storms, but most of that is going to be pushing from Memphis area down southward. But as you can see, it kind of dies out around 6 p.m. So it's going to have a little bit of a struggle going on, not going to lie. It's going to be very difficult in northern portions of Mississippi. So stay weather aware since you're on that slight risk for severe weather today. Much of Texas is in a marginal risk, so if you're in areas west of Dallas, stay weather aware today. You have that marginal risk and could be upgraded over by Lubbock, Midland, Ozona area later today. But as far as if you're in areas of Dallas and eastward, you don't have to worry about too much there. Houston area does have a pocket of some storms that are expected sometime around 4 p.m. But again, marginal risk is expected. So nothing real significant, at least at this point. This doesn't look too big of a threat here along that I-10 area. So really sometime after 3 p.m. in Houston area, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. would be kind of the time frame for some of those heavier bands of storms. Areas of Louisiana, this even shows some areas expecting like the Baton Rouge area sometime after 3 p.m. Could have some pockets of hail in those storm cells here by Baton Rouge area, and then kind of trying to build back to Jennings area of Louisiana. Maddie, I'll get to Ohio. 1 second here. There's the risk for Ohio. Timing on that in Ohio, expect that around anytime after 1 p.m. Could have some storm development, but it could have a struggle with some cloud cover there. Cambridge area, sometime around 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The risks as far as Ohio, you do have that 2% risk over by Parkersburg, east of Waverly, and east of Canton, Ohio. You do have that 2% risk outlined in the green zone here. North Carolina, you guys have less than 2% risk for tornado activity here for today. But North Carolina, if you're in the Fayetteville, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Raleigh area, you would have a slight risk for overall severe weather. Few pockets of storms expected later in the day in North Carolina. This would be after 6 p.m. into your midnight time. You're welcome. Minnesota is not expecting anything. Let me go back to the overall. Minnesota is not expecting anything today. Let's take a look at day 2. Not expecting anything tomorrow, and not expecting anything too significant, just general thunderstorms at this point for day 3, which would end up being your Wednesday. So general thunderstorms in areas of Minnesota on day 3. Again, day 3, Iowa area needs to be on alert, expecting that. All right, areas of Midland today, we are expecting to see, let me pull up the risks for overall here. Lubbock area, Midland area, this is timing around midnight time frame. Let me back it up a little bit here. So sometime after 6 p.m. in Midland, Texas, you could end up with some impacts there. Right now, they just have marginal risk outlined by the Storm Prediction Center, but that could change. So stay weather aware today if you're in Midland and the Lubbock areas, because we could see some additional pop-up storms sometime between 6 p.m. and midnight. I will look at Florida here. That was not on my risk list to look, but I will certainly look. So if you're south of Jacksonville, you are expecting general thunderstorms outlined in this area, but Tallahassee and the panhandle of Florida, let me show you the timing. That I-10 over by Wright and Tallahassee areas, sometime after 6 p.m., you could have some storms there. The risk for tornadic activity is less than 2% in Florida. The risk for wind, less than 2% in Florida, or really no risk at all. And then the wind threat, there's a little bit just over Jacksonville and points northward, Tallahassee area, you could have that wind threat. Somerset, I'll take a look at Somerset, Kentucky area. All right, timing on that, 3:30. Sometime after 3 p.m., you could have some storms with some heavy, heavy wind threat. So between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Yeah, you guys had some significant weather down there in Florida. You guys have been dealing with a lot. I pray for you guys this hurricane season. Been hearing a lot of things about East Coast going to be getting hammered, but hopefully not. Owensboro, Kentucky. I'm not sure exactly where that is in relation to Somerset. So, so if you're in this or the yellow zone, that's the higher probability for wind threat. So from Somerset all the way up to areas of Charleston, Hindman. The yellow is the 2 out of 5 risk. Can't specify any areas, so if you can see some areas of Mississippi that look familiar, kind of looking at some of the geographic areas, the interstates and the roads there, you might be able to see that a little bit better. I'll give you some timing for Mississippi. That obviously was 7 a.m. It was expecting that, but really didn't amount to anything. Then we're expecting in Mississippi some more storm development later this afternoon into the evening hours, but it's going to be very hit or miss. There could be some areas. Gulfport area. One second here. One second here. I'm just trying to pull up that information here. I apologize. Gulfport area, you're referring to, I'm assuming Louisiana, but can't get it to show up here. Mississippi shows how far up north I live. Thought Gulfport area was down here, but it's a little tough for me to see. Is it over by Biloxi? I could have swore it was. So if it's over by New Orleans, these areas here, you're going to see impact sometime after 4 p.m. Biloxi area, sometime around after 6 p.m. Hopefully, Swifty forever. Hopefully, I got your area in there somewhere. All right, so Houston, Texas. Let's take a look at Texas area one more time. Houston, you are in a marginal risk for severe weather. The timing on this is, again, radar estimates sometime after 4 p.m. You could have some marginally severe weather. That would include the possibilities of 40 to 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, obviously some rain, could be some nickel-size hail in there possibilities, but nothing real huge. Waco, Texas, you guys are in a general thunderstorms for today, so not expecting anything real impactful for today. You're pretty well done. I know you guys also had some impacts yesterday while we were live. Stillwater, Oklahoma area, you guys are good in Stillwater and most of Oklahoma. Unless you're in the southwest portion over by Elk City, that's general thunderstorms in that uh, lighter shade of green there. Chattanooga, Tennessee, you guys are in a slight risk in Tennessee. If you're over by the Nashville area, again, sometime after noon time, you can expect a significant wind threat to be impacting your area, as well as could be a possibility of some tornadic activity. Um, it doesn't, I can't believe they don't have that tornado risk down here farther. We'll have to see how it goes. I can't believe they don't have that in there, but we'll see. So areas of Tennessee, according to the official Storm Prediction Center, less than 2% risk of tornadoes. So that's all I can go off of. But they do have the slight risk for Knoxville, Savannah, all those in Tennessee. Fort Worth, Texas, you guys are okay today. Don't expect anything like you had last night. Cincinnati, Ohio, let me go ahead and kind of show you the estimates here. You're in general thunderstorms, not expecting anything real huge in Cincinnati, Ohio today. I hope you have a good day as well. Thank you so much. You're at 6,000 almost. Yeah, it's crazy, Tufts weather. Yeah, I had around 4,200 followers before I started my lives yesterday, and now I'm at, yeah, nearly 6,000. East Liverpool, Ohio. I can't get down to that specific of an area. What you're going to have to do in Ohio area is areas of Interstate 71 and points eastward. If you're east of Interstate 71 in Ohio, then stay weather aware. You do have that marginal risk as well as slight risk if you're over farther by Dover and Belmont, Ohio areas. Thank you, Lizzie. Appreciate it. Abilene area, Mississippi. I kind of went over your guys' area. I'm going to give you general ideas of the timing. So if you're in the Mississippi, if you're in the mainly southern Mississippi, the timing of the storms is between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. If you're in Alabama, the timing on the storms, again, it's going to be mainly in the evening hours. Um, they were expecting some storms this morning with the second round of development this afternoon and early evening with damaging wind, large hail. But right now, we obviously you can see we don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings and we don't have any tornado warnings, which is great. So Texas City, apologize, I don't know where Texas City is. But I got Abilene here, so I'll do that a solid here. Looks like Abilene, you possibly overnight hours, some marginal risk. Let's take a look at day 2 for Abilene. It looks like you guys are still in a marginal risk for tomorrow. All right. All right, down here. So let me show you day one. You guys are in the Galveston, Texas area, that Texas city. You guys are expecting some storm redevelopment over by the Houston area sometime after 7 p.m. But again, it's marginal risk. Lubbock and Midland areas, you guys are expecting some storms later today, but again, the Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk. I'm not buying it though. I think there's going to be some areas that could end up with some slight risk in the Lubbock and Midland areas later on. We'll have to see how that goes. That's a look at 1 a.m. on the. Let me go through this here 1 second. All right, so Midland area sometime after 8 p.m. In Lubbock area sometime after midnight, there could possibly be some storms. Illinois, I'll take a look at Illinois here. Illinois for today, you guys are expecting some general thunderstorms, some rain over by the Chicago area. This HRRR is having a little bit of a hard time picking that up. It's going to be very spotty, hit or miss, Chicago area, and then farther south into like areas of Carbondale, Illinois. St. Louis, Missouri area, this is you guys are in general thunderstorms. If you're over by Cape Girardeau, Poplar Bluff, general thunderstorms. Again, nothing expected to be severe unless you're farther eastward over into areas of Tennessee. Lamari, you're welcome. Plano, Texas area. And I apologize, I don't recall exactly where Plano, Texas is, so I'm just going to have to do a quick search for that. One second here. Okay, so that's north of Dallas. You guys are okay. General thunderstorms expected in Plano, Texas today. Yes, is Georgia expecting? Let's go to Georgia. Let's go to the deep south here. Georgia, you can expect some storms later today. Areas of Georgia, your storm arrival is sometime between 3 p.m. and 11 p.m. today. Let's go ahead and kind of play that through here. So that Atlanta area, there it is, around 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So that'd be 4 p.m. your time in Atlanta. All modes of severe weather are expected in these areas. Let me go ahead and bring up the probability of tornadoes. It doesn't have Atlanta and Georgia in the risk for tornadoes. It's more of the wind risk. As you can see that outlined in there for today, the wind risk. But I would not be a bit surprised if you could see possibility in Georgia, some brief spin ups. So just stay weather aware. Oh, hey, what's up? Kit Kat, what do we got here? What's the question? 1 second here. St. Joseph, Michigan. I could certainly take a look at Michigan. It wasn't that I was ignoring you. Michigan, you do have a low risk here for probability of wind, marginal risk. So let me kind of show areas of Michigan here. Grand Rapids area, the timing would be after 4 p.m. Union City, after 5, looks like kind of marginally severe is what SPC has for Michigan. So the other risks, You guys are outside of the probability for tornadoes. Your hail risk is extremely low, and your wind risk is extremely low. So it isn't that I was trying to ignore you, Kit Kat. It was just the fact that I was focusing on some of the higher risk areas. That's what we do here is try to stay focused on some of the higher risk areas. K Plunk, what can we expect in slight areas? So in the slight areas, you can expect damaging winds. You can also expect to have some damaging hail. Hail could be quarter size or greater. The hail risk isn't really that significant in the slight risk areas. It's pretty low actually, but quarter size hail is possible. The wind threat is really what's the biggest driver for today in areas of the deep south, the mid-Atlantic, and all the way up over into areas of Pennsylvania. So those are the major risks. Hendersonville, Tennessee. Adeline, I'll take a look at Hendersonville, Tennessee. Just stop spamming. I appreciate it. I know you want to know what's going on in those areas, and I appreciate that very much. But the best that I could do, I can't get down to that specific area, but if you can see your city, an area, a major city that is close to your area of Tennessee there, kind of put that down there, and that'd be best. So again, Nashville area expecting some storm development in the afternoon hours, and then moving on to the east, southeast area, impacts Shelbyville sometime after 5 p.m. and then moving over to Knoxville area after 6 p.m. and then moving on out of here. By midnight, everything's out of Tennessee. Elias, Michigan, we're not expecting a whole lot going on in those areas. Again, marginal risk for severe weather. That marginal risk, it would be the darker shade of green. Not expecting a whole lot. I did pick up Michigan here earlier, so I'll pick it up again. Again, after 3 p.m., some marginally severe risk. That would be including nickel-sized type hail. 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts are possible. Mount Airy, North Carolina. Somebody was asking about North Carolina. So if you're in areas, Raleigh and points northward, you either have a marginal risk in the darker shade of green. Yeah, lots of weather going on, downpouring in Ohio. Yeah, you guys got some rain expected today. But again, nothing severe at this point. All right, here's the timing for areas of North Carolina. So Charlotte, you're expecting some storms to show up your area pretty late in the day, sometime after 7 p.m. And again, the slight risk could end up having quarter size hail, up to quarter size hail. Could have 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts in some of these areas as well. That's in the slight risk. Areas like Columbia, South Carolina, sometime after 9 p.m. And then Fayetteville, North Carolina, it looks like 1 a.m. getting impacted quite significantly there with some of that wind threat right there. Is there a tornado threat for Murfreesboro? Right now, as it stands, there is not. The Storm Prediction Center does not have a risk. The risk level is lower than 2%, so they don't have you guys anywhere in a tornado risk in Tennessee. Huntington, West Virginia. Some portions of West Virginia are in that risk for tornado activity today. So Charleston area, do you have some storms that might move into your area, but it would be late according to this weather model. Goodness. Looks like not until maybe 11 o'clock. Let me go ahead and span out here a little bit, and I'm going to take a look at satellite. That'll help me understand why not much is going on here. Let's take a look here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the satellite here. All right, so you do have a lot of cloud cover over by Columbus, Indianapolis, Indiana, Louisville, but look at all this clearing over by Charleston, West Virginia. So I do suspect that you guys are going to have some development happening again this afternoon. This is all clear skies here. Let me play this out here for you. A lot of cloud cover here, but this southeasterly flow here is going to help feed in there. There is a little bit of moisture being blocked with all these cloud cover over Jackson. That's why the Jackson, Mississippi storms really haven't amounted to much this morning's threat anyways, but it's a little tricky. Let me take a look at the infrared here, see what we got going on. We do have some storm cells trying to get going over just to the southwest of Meridian, Mississippi. Some of this development, the infrared satellite loop. So we have things trying to get going, but really having a bit of a struggle, and that is likely due to some of the capping in the atmosphere. NTX Weather, thank you for the roses. Appreciate it. Huntsville, Alabama. Let me go back to our radar loops here. Go back to our weather models here and see if we can show you guys the NAM. Let me look at NAM 3K here, 1 second. This NAM 3K loop will allow me to go out to 5 p.m. on June 10th. So give it a little bit more ability to see some things here. Got 40 hours out. This was updated at 2 a.m., so I apologize, folks. This is not as updated as the HRRR, but it is one weather model that I like to use as well. It's been a busy, busy day, NTX weather. I am doing well. I hope you're doing well as well. I mean, northern Texas has really gotten hammered. Yeah, definitely a crazy night. All right, let's go ahead and pull those outlooks again. Let me go give you the timeline here. And as you can see, it was expecting some heavier storms in areas of Jackson. This is a look at 4 o'clock. Let's go ahead and show Mississippi real quick. Meridian area, sometime around 6 p.m. according to this weather model. Birmingham, Alabama, you got some spotty storms expected sometime after 5 p.m. Again, this is according to this weather model. There's a multitude of weather models. I think there's like 25 or even more than that. Just depends on which models you're looking at. There's ensembles and there's other weather models that you can utilize as well. So getting them all to agree with each other is sometimes a huge task. So look at this. We do show some stormy weather around 3 o'clock in the morning for Caseta, which would be over in areas of Georgia. Go back up here and take a look at some of these areas where we do have that tornado risk up here. And this shows it much more spotty than the HRRR. And the HRRR does have a tendency to be a little bit more ramped up. Oh, thank you so much. NTX, thank you so much. I don't even know if I have that capability on this one to show the power outages. Probably not. All right, I'm going to switch gears right now. What about Columbus, Ohio? I'm going to get Columbus, Ohio, and then I got to do a solid. I got to make sure that my South Dakota friends get their 7-day forecast here because we got some severe weather that's expected in South Dakota areas later this week. Let's go ahead and take a look. Columbus, Ohio. You guys are in general thunderstorms. You have that marginal risk just to the east of you. Again, expecting continued showers this morning. Additional development could possibly happen later this afternoon in Columbus, Ohio, and points eastward, but it remains to be seen. This is what I would call a highly conditional threat today, because unless you're in areas like West Virginia and down in the south, I think those areas over in Atlanta, Columbia, South Carolina, those areas probably are going to have more of the risk because you got a lot of the clearing already happening for you. Over 350,000 power outages in Texas area. That's crazy. That is just nuts. All right, folks, I'm going to get the 7-day forecast here. 1 second. Went and showed you all that fun. Seven-day forecast for South Dakota. Where did I put that? I got too many different things up. That's my live chasing. Huh. All right, 7-day forecast. It's coming up here. There we go. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. And apparently, what is happening with this? Can tell how long it's been since I did that. Can't even tell which one this is. Why is that not showing up? Oh, it's because I got this up. Hang on, folks. There we go. All right, so we have the 7-day forecast for areas of South Dakota. All right, so South Dakota, so we do have those storms that are expected for Thursday for areas of Sioux Falls. Wednesday into Thursday, we do expect some marginally severe storms, and that's what it has right now. But my weather sense says that they're probably going to upgrade that to a slight risk, and this would be south of Sioux Falls area, but still 70% risk of some hail, as well as possibility of some wind threat. I have yet to see if there's going to be some tornado outlooks for that because that's so far in advance. But again, look at these beautiful temperatures. Average highs are 82. Right now we're kind of cool, but we do expect that sunny weather to approach areas of Tuesday, and then we're going to end up with the 80s and close to 90 again as we get into the end of the weekend here. Let's go ahead and take a look at areas of Aberdeen, South Dakota. 77 is the average high, and the average low is 56. Look at that. Stormy weather continuing for areas in Thursday and Friday, but again, most of that I'm expecting that to be further south. Areas of Pierre, South Dakota, going to have areas of smoke that, those that are dealing with some of the breathing issues, that's going to be pretty impactful for you over the next couple of days. We do get some relief as we get those storms showing up Wednesday and Thursday, and then kind of continuing that isolated stormy chance over into the weekend. But look at those temps, 80s, near 90 by Sunday. Areas of Rapid City, a lot of haze over there as we got to deal with a lot of the fires that are up in Canada areas. Lots of fire risk up there. Still continuing Wednesday and Thursday. Some stormy weather pattern continues through the rest of the week, actually. Off and on. Saturday, 83, and then Sunday, 84 degrees. All right, folks, let's go back to some of the weather here and see what we got going on here. We'll zoom back out here and get your guys' risks. Appreciate you sticking with me through this. We have one special marine warning. Where is that? That's way over here into areas of Texas, way out here. So that's just that one there. We do already have a special weather statement. Let me go ahead and bring up live radar here. We've got two of them now. So special weather statement, we got lawn, and then we got novice. This special weather statement is for Texas. Wind gusts 50 miles per hour. That matches up with that marginal risk that they have. This is moving off to the east. We got a few storms. This is looking at live radar here, so I'm just going to put that back up here. Let me make sure that my models are cleared. There we go. So we just had that get issued here moments ago. We got that special weather statement there, and I don't believe we have any other ones here. We do have a second one. Where's that other one here? Okay, we do have some storm activity down here in areas like Mobile, Alabama. See what direction this is going. Locations impacted by this would be, and this is moving off to the northeast. So this is moving over Tillman's Corner, Theodore, Grand Bay, and Mobile Regional Airport. North Carolina, you're asking if you're in a risk for tornado activity today. I can certainly answer that here for you. Less than 2%. So chances for tornadoes in Georgia, there is that risk. They don't have a risk outlined in Georgia for tornadoes, but I am not buying it. I would say stay weather aware if you're in Georgia. They're likely going to have another update here. Well, they will have an update at 11:30, and I'll do my best to get an update out to you guys on TikTok here, as well as Facebook and YouTube, for those tornado risks if they do change this risk. But right now, the Storm Prediction Center has a 2% risk over in areas of Alabama and Mississippi outlined in this green here. So we do have some showers and thunderstorms that happened over this morning in areas of Alabama. Right now, let's take a look. This is a look at live radar. Is Ohio getting tornado activity? 2% risk if you're east of Columbus, Ohio. So over by Cambridge, Parkersburg, Ohio, east of Canton, Ohio, those would be areas that are in that 2% risk for tornadoes, all the way up into areas of New York here, up by Brighton, Buffalo area, and then Pittsburgh, into areas of West Virginia, like Charleston and Morgantown. That's where your risks. Don't be scared. Be weather aware, Maddie. All right, so I took care of Flattes. Pittsburgh, your overall risk here for today, you do have that possibility of tornadoes today, so stay weather aware. That is going to be later this afternoon. We don't expect that to happen until after 1 p.m. These storms are really trying to train, but there's no severe thunderstorm impact here right now on these storms that are in this line, at least not right now. Once it gets closer to this marginal risk area, let me put up some of the details that we can kind of show that. So we have dew points in the 60s right now. I apologize. 1 second here. This is going to take a moment. There we go. All right, so we have dew points in the 60s, so lots of moisture to work with. Your temperatures in areas of Cleveland, you got in the 60s, so we have that temperature to dew point ratio is pretty close. There's much more warm air and moist air over here in Charleston. Look at that 60s there, close to 70-degree dew points. And then down into areas of Alabama, you got that 70-degree dew point. Georgia, that's where we got a lot of that going on right there. Brownie, are you asking if the risk for Georgia is high for tornadoes, or are you asking if it's for just general? Okay, so Georgia, your risk for the tornado activity, according to SPC, is less than 2%. Again, 11:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, there will be another update. But my opinion, it's still going to be relatively low. Your threat for Georgia area is going to be mainly the wind threat. As you can see outlined here, this yellow zone, that is the wind threat for today. This threat is a 15% risk. And then the brown, that is a 5% risk. As you can see, that goes all up and down these areas here. The wind threat, again, is 15% over in areas of New Mexico. What's going on in Knoxville? Knoxville area, you guys have that 15% risk for the probability of significantly severe wind. The tornado threat is less than 2%, so that's good news, but your overall risk is a slight risk, which is a 2 out of 5 for Knoxville, Tennessee. All right. So I appreciate y'all staying with me. Eastern Tennessee. Again, you guys in Eastern Tennessee, the timing for your storms is going to be sometime this afternoon. Let me get that. 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. is the official timing from the National Weather Service. So the risk would be heavy rain and flooding possible, large hail. That risk is really low. Tornadoes is not expected in areas of Tennessee. Damaging wind, that's a higher risk. That's a 2 out of 5. So stay weather aware if you're in those areas. Toby and Kaya, please don't spam. I will look at Ohio. I'll look at Ohio right now. Okay, this is a live look at the radar for Ohio. You don't have anything expected until later on. There's going to be some additional development this afternoon in Ohio area. No problem, Toby and Kaya. I know you want to make sure that you get your voices heard, and I appreciate it. So please do a solid and follow. We do weather updates here every day at 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time, and we try to get this. This is a live look at radar. Let me go ahead and look at radar estimates again. I'm going to shut that off for a minute since we don't have any severe weather going on. And after that, I'm going to let you guys go because I do need to get some other stuff done here. So one moment. One second. I'm just going to take a look at reflective here. 1 second. All right, we're going to take a look at that, and I'll look at Ladybug. I'll take a look at the Tennessee. These are going to be estimates here. Let me go ahead and put the radar estimate disclaimer on here. Otherwise, people are going to be like, oh, is this happening now? All right, so all right, Tennessee area. And then somebody had asked about Indiana and Ohio. So while I'm up in Ohio, let's go ahead and show you Ohio estimates, and then I'll drop back down to Tennessee. We'll go over to Indiana area. These are radar estimates of timing. Those storms up by Cleveland, Ohio area, sometime this afternoon after 1 o'clock. Those are radar estimates. It's having a struggle from what I can see here. It's having quite the struggle to really get going in some of those areas. So again, there is that risk for tornado activity in areas of Ohio that is extreme eastern portion of Ohio. But the other risk is the wind risk. All right, so Indiana, somebody asked about Indiana. Your guys' risk is general thunderstorms. I could give you an idea of when your rain showers. These are going to be very, very spotty in areas of Indiana today. Playing that through here really doesn't look like it's going to be a whole lot in areas of Indiana. Very spotty general thunderstorms, not expecting severe weather in Indiana today. All right, areas of Tennessee, eastern Tennessee, somebody was asking about. All right, let's go ahead and look at the timing. And what I have right now up in these numbers, these are dew points. So just be mindful of that. Those are live dew point reports. Nashville area, okay, sometime after 2 p.m. And then points eastward on from that. It looks like once you get to around 8 or 9 o'clock, things start to really die out pretty quickly. Pennsylvania and northeastern Kentucky. So let's go to northeastern Kentucky here first. So it looks like sometime after 1 p.m. Central Daylight Time, you can expect some storms there. And again, that area is not under a risk for tornado activity according to SPC's outlook. The risk there is a low risk of wind. Um, and the further into the northeast part of Kentucky, though, east of Cynthia, you guys are in a 15% risk for that tornado or that wind threat. And then look at how close to the northeastern part of Kentucky you got that 2% risk. So just stay weather aware if you're in any of these shaded areas. Stay weather aware today. So Brianna Campbell, I hopefully answered your question about northeastern Kentucky. Again, that timing for those storms is going to be very spotty. Some people may get it and others may not. So just stay weather aware today. What about Mississippi? Somebody asked about Mineral Wells, Texas. Let's go to Texas and then we will go ahead and go to and then we'll go to Mississippi. Mineral wells, you're in general thunderstorms, so we're not expecting a whole lot in mineral wells, thankfully, because you guys had enough yesterday when I was live. We're expecting some explosive storms to happen sometime after midnight over in Lubbock, Midland. Teresa Jones, I'll take a look at Alabama next, after I take a look at areas of Texas and Mississippi. So again, this is the overall outlook for the categorical outlook. If you're in the light shade of green, that's general thunderstorms, non-severe is expected. If you're in the darker shade of green, that's marginally severe, so expect 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Could have marginally severe hail, that could be marble to nickel size hail. And then the slight risk would be the yellow area, yellow shaded area. All right. So you can see the timing on Texas. Going back here. Atmosphere in Texas is going to kind of stabilize a little bit until late in the evening hours. We do expect Midland and Lubbock area probably. If they don't update things with like a 7 p.m. update from the SPC to have this area in a slight risk, I would be surprised. Waco, you guys are expecting to be in general thunderstorms today. Rebecca Reinhardt. All right, so now we got to get over to areas of Mississippi. So here's Mississippi. I'll cover Mississippi and Alabama area right here. You're in a slight risk for thunderstorms today. So that could be 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. You could also end up having a few brief spin ups of tornadoes, as that tornado probability is right in here, that 2%. And then your wind threat is also there, as you're in that 15% risk for areas of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. That also includes areas of Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina as well. So again, this is timing. Let's go ahead and play that through here. As you can see, it kind of dissipates a little bit. And then second round comes through this afternoon. As you can see, some areas like Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Jackson, Jackson, Alabama. I did not realize there was two. So there's Jackson, Mississippi, and there's Jackson, Alabama as well. Was not aware of that. Montgomery, Alabama area around 3 p.m. could have some a few brief spin-ups possibilities. So stay weather aware if you're in that area. That goes through, so Alabama area, that goes through around, gosh, it looks like it lasts until sometime, pretty much the whole state is under that until midnight. Talladega, I know somebody asked about Talladega. That's further north here, so let's go to that area. I saw it a minute ago. There we go. Birmingham, looks like that's, some of these storms are likely to stay farther south. So stay weather aware in Talladega, Alabama area. You do have that possibility for all modes of severe weather. In Talladega, you got a 72-degree dew point in some of those areas right there by Talladega. So just stay weather aware. Kansas City area, not expecting anything in the Kansas City area today. Let's go and zoom out. You guys are looking at a 55-degree dew point today, or right now anyways. So you guys are outside of any risk for today. Day 2, outside of that risk. And then when we get into Wednesday, that's when we start to see some generalized thunderstorms just west of Kansas City area. And day 4, day 5, day 6, look at that. Nothing really expected for a little while, but things could change. I do suspect that there's going to be some more severe weather expecting in the middle of June and towards the end of June. So stay weather aware. Columbus, Georgia. Let's go back to Georgia area here. And I'm not sure if there it is, maybe. Looks like some of your significant storms would be sometime after 5 p.m. in Columbus, Georgia. However, we could have that happen a little bit sooner because you do have that slight risk here, so that covers you for the whole day. So just be weather aware if you're in Georgia, any of these shaded areas in yellow, especially in the yellow, and then the green, darker shaded green, that's the marginal risk. I've seen tornadoes happen in marginal risks, so stay weather aware. Upstate New York, day 3, day 4 for Dallas-Fort Worth area. Not expecting anything real huge for day 3, day 4, but we'll do those live updates daily. So just please be sure to join. We do those daily live updates at 8 a.m. and we've been almost an hour and a half now. So, all right. So the timing for upstate New York. Let's take a look at the risk for tornadoes. You guys do have that risk for tornadic activity. Most of that is expected to be later this afternoon into the evening, as you have a few blowups here over by Olean area, Buffalo area. So around 4 p.m., which would be 5 p.m. in East Coast time. Looking at close to 5 p.m. just west of Bath. A few storm cells pretty strong right here along Interstate 86. I know somebody asked for South Central Pennsylvania. So if you're over by Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, you guys are outside of that risk for the tornado probability. Let's go ahead and do that here. So take a look at these areas here. This is the timing that we have for that. South Florida, you guys are general thunderstorms in South Florida. You got some rain timing. I can kind of give you that. Kind of focusing usually on the severe weather part of it. So it looks like West Palm Beach area sometime around 6 p.m. Maybe Waverly area could have some stormy weather, but again, this is going to be less than severe. This is going to be general thunderstorms. Jayla, Mississippi. Hadesburg, somewhere around 4 p.m. could have, this would be some pretty significant hail, and you could have a possibility of brief spin up here. Beaumont area. Yes, Desiree, I'll do Portales, New Mexico here next. On my way, I'll do San Antonio, Jay. Look at that. So that's the timing for the southern portion of Mississippi. Here's kind of the northern and central. All right, let's go over to areas of Texas here. San Antonio. You guys, San Antonio, Texas, you guys are in the marginal risk for severe weather today. And as you can see, it really is not having much. Look at this. This actually shows the storms might be going from the east to the west. That's weird. Look at that, over by Moulton, east to west. 70-degree dew points. You guys do have the possibility in San Antonio for some stormy weather, but it's going to be marginally severe. Not expecting any tornadic activity over in areas of San Antonio today, as you can see there. Let's go over to New Mexico, Port Dallas. There we go. My old age, I'm actually remembering where Portales, New Mexico is. All right, so Portales, it looks like sometime after 8 p.m., that would be Central Daylight Time. So after 7, your time. And it looks like a pretty significant wind threat as well. So that's why you're in that slight risk. The tornado probability, you're outside of that tornado probability. But the wind risk is pretty significant there as well. So just stay weather aware in the evening hours in Portales, New Mexico. Jay, is it going to be really bad? I'm sorry, Jay. No, in San Antonio, it's not going to be really bad at all. Zaz Dog, not expecting anything significant in areas of Dallas, Texas today. Your guys' risk is general thunderstorms in Dallas, Waco, general thunderstorms. Marginal risk in the darker shade of green. All right, folks, Dallas is good. So I'm going to let you guys go. It's your friend. Let me go ahead and take care of Benton, Louisiana, and then I do need to let you guys go. You're in a marginal risk in areas of Louisiana for today. So that just means you could end up with possibility of some hail. That would be to the tune of possibly marble size or nickel size hail. We're not expecting anywhere in Louisiana to have that risk for tornado. At least it's less than 2%. The probability for wind threat is really low as well. And the hail threat is really low as well. So really not expecting a whole lot in areas of Louisiana today, but stay weather aware is all we can advise you. Larry Hernan, can you tell me Dimmitt, Texas, where exactly that is in relation to Texas. You got a whole state that is one of the largest states here. So can you tell me bigger vicinity like Dallas? Where is it? Where is it in relation to San Antonio or Fort Stockton? Some of those bigger areas. If you could tell me that, that would be great. So the green shade by Amarillo and Lubbock. Okay. All right. So this is estimate of what could end up happening in those areas here today. This is sometime after 10 p.m. They have a marginal risk for today. Tomorrow, you guys have, again, general thunderstorms for tomorrow. That could be upgraded to a marginal risk, depending on how these storms favor. But again, for that area just south of Amarillo, not expecting a whole lot, maybe sometime after 10 p.m. if those storms can hold together that build over by the New Mexico border. Huntsville, Alabama, thought I got that already, but maybe not. Tell you, trying to remember where all these areas of, I'm learning a lot of geographic, that's for sure. All right, so this is timing for storms for Huntsville, Alabama area. Looks like the northern part of it is going to have to wait until sometime after 5 p.m. Again, these are radar estimates. We can't say for sure. So if the main thing that I want to tell you, if you're in any of this yellow shaded area or even the marginal risk, which is a darker shade of green, you need to stay weather aware. If something doesn't happen, I'm super ecstatic. But just stay weather aware. That's the main thing that we have to tell you guys. All right, God bless and stay safe, everybody. I'm going to let you guys go. Have a good rest of your day. I likely will not be live today. I got a lot of cleaning in the house that I got to do with the kids. Um, and the reason why I likely won't be live today is the tornado risk is really low compared to yesterday, and I am beat. I got to work tomorrow. So I'll do my daily live update at 8 a.m. But again, thanks so much for the follows. Expecting a little bit of a lull in the severe weather for a couple of days after today. But then it'll ramp up as we get into the weekend and into next week, as it typically does. And we're expecting some stormy weather to approach the northern plains as we get into next week. So that moisture is going to be moving its way on northward. And hopefully the south could dry out a little bit as more of that moisture